son is not well. So we just came to know that he's admitted in the hospital and he was in ICU for last 14 days and now looks like he's got into coma. So we have got a request to especially pray for Neve. So I was thinking this auspicious day of Ekadashi, maybe we can all dedicate one round for chanting for Neve. We can do that. So we'll dedicate this round for Neve. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, Hare Krishna. So back in Vizag, every Ekadashi we are chanting, we are reciting 3 chapters, 9, 12 and 15. So I thought we'll just do it since I'm here. Just we recite the verses, and then we recite Bhramasamita. We recite one verse from Mukunda Mala Sotra with purport and Ekadashi story, and also the names of Ekadashi, all the 26 names. So that we do every Ekadashi. So we'll start with the 9th chapter. Okay, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. We'll just recite together. Yeah. Yeah. 9th chapter. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Idam tu te guhyatamam pravakshyami anusuyave gnanam vignana sahitam yagnatva mokshase shubhat Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam Pavitram Idamuttamam Pratyakshavagam Dharmyam Susukham Karatum Avyayam Ashadhadanaha Purusha Dharmasyasya Parantapa Aprapya Mam Nivartante Mrityu Samsara Vartamani Maya tatam idam sarvam jagat avyaktamurtina matstani sarva bhutani nachaham teshvavastitaha nacha matstani bhutani pashyame yogamaishwaryam bhutabrinna cha bhutosto mamatma bhuta bhavanaha yathakashasito nityam vayu sarvatra gomahan tatha sarvani bhutani matsthanati upadharaya सर्वभूतानि कौन्तेया प्रकृतिं यान्ति मामिकं कल्पक्षये पुनस्तानि कल्पदो विसृजामि अहं प्रकृतिं स्वामवस्तभ्या विसृजामि पुनः पुनः भूतग्राममिमं कृष्णम् अवसां प्रकृते वसात् न च मां तानि कर्माणि निबधनन्ति धनञ्जय उदासीनो वदासीनम् आसक्तं तेषु कर्मसु मया दक्षेण प्रकृति सुयते सा चराचरं हेतुनानेन कौन्तेया जगद्विपरिवर्तते अवजानन्ति मां मूढा मानुषीं तानुमाश्रितं परं भावमजानन्तो मम भूता महेश्वरं मोघाशमोघकर्माणो मोघज्ञानविचेतसः राक्षसीम् आसुरीं चैव प्रकृतिं मोहिनीं श्रुतः महात्मनास्तु मां पार्थ दैवीं प्रकृतिमाश्रितः भजन्ति अनन्यमनसो ज्ञात्वा भूतादिमव्ययं सततं कीर्तयन्तो मां यतन्तश्च दृढाव्रतः नमस्यन्तश्च मां भक्त्या नित्ययुक्ता उपासते ज्ञानयज्ञेन च पीयन्ये यजन्तो माम् उपासते एकत्वेन पृथक्त्वेन बहुधा विश्वतो मुखम् अहं क्रतुरहं यज्ञा स्वदाहम् अहमौषधं मन्त्रोऽहम् अहमेवज्यम् अहम् अग्निरहं हुतं पिताहम् अस्य जगतो माता धाता पितामहः वेद्यं पवित्रमोंकारं ऋक्साम यजुरेव च गतिर्भर्ता प्रभु साक्षी निवासा शरणं सुहृत् प्रभाव प्रलयास्थानं निधानं बीजमव्ययम् तपामि अहं वर्षं निघ्रणामि उत्सृजामि च अमृतं चैव मृत्युश्च सदसच्चाहमर्जुन त्रैविध्यमां सोमपापूतपाप
यज्ञेरिष्ट्वा स्वर्गतिं प्रार्थयन्ते ते पुण्यमसाद्य सुरेन्द्रलोकम् अस्नान्ति दिव्यां दिवि देवभोगम् ते तां भुक्त्वा स्वर्गलोकविशालं शिने पुण्ये मर्त्यलोकं विशन्ति एवं त्रयी धर्मामनुप्रापन्ना गतागतं कामकामा लभन्ते अनन्यश्चिन्तयन्तो मां ये जना पर्युपासते तेषां नित्यभियुक्तानां योगक्षेम्यं वहाम्यहम् येऽपि अन्यदेवता भक्ता यजन्ते श्रद्धयन्वितः तेऽपि मामेव कौन्तेय यजन्ति अविधिपूर्वकम् अहं हि सर्वयज्ञानां भोक्ताश्च प्रभुरेव च न तु मामभिजानन्ति तत्त्वेनातश्चवन्ति ते यान्ति देवाव्रता देवान् पितृयान्ति पितृव्रतः भूतानि यान्ति भूतेज्या यान्ति माद्यजिनोऽपि मां पत्रं पुष्पं फलं तोयं यो मे भक्ता प्रयच्छति तदहं भक्ति उपहारितम् अश्नामि प्रयतात्मनः यत्करोषि यदश्नासि यज्जुहोषि ददासि यत्तपस्यासि कौन्तेय तत्कुरुष्व मदर्पणम् शुभाशुभफलेरेवं मोक्षसे कर्मबन्धना सन्न्यासयोगयुक्तात्मा विमुक्ता मामुपेष्यसि समोऽहं सर्वभूतेषु न मे द्वेषोऽस्ति न प्रियः ये भजन्ति तु मां भक्ता मयि ते तेषु च प्रियहम् अपि चेत् सुदुराचारो भजते मामनन्यभाक् साधुरेव समन्तव्या सम्यक् व्यवसितो हि सा क्षिप्रं भवति धर्मात्मा शाश्वतशान्तिं निगच्छति कौन्तेय प्रतिजानीहि न मे भक्त प्रणश्यति मां हि पार्थाव्यपश्रित्य येऽपिषु पापयोनया स्त्रियो वैश्या तथा शूद्रा तेऽपि यान्ति परं गतिं किं पुनर्ब्राह्मणा पुण्या भक्तराजर्षयस्तथा अनित्यम् असुखं लोकम् इमं प्राप्य भजस्व माम् मन्मना भव मद्भक्तो मद्याजी मां नमस्कुरु ममेवैष्यसि युक्तवैवम् आत्मानां मत्परायणः इति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे नवमोऽध्यायः राजविद्या राजगुह्यनामः हरिः ओम तत्सत्। श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय। Am I going fast? It's okay. Little bit I'm going fast.
It's ready.
Yeah.
Trying to change the view in the phone.
So it's taking little time. Yeah. So I'll try to go more slow.
Search for PDFs. Then
Don't change the view.
you want to use only shlokas for them. Only shlokas.
Only so.
Mataji will open that one.
That will be easy. If only slokas will be easy.
You can share the link for this. I can share the link. Yes.
Actually, there is a very beautiful Mahatyam, Gita Mahatyam given in Padma Puran. And it's a conversation between Lord Shiva and Parvati Devi. So when Parvati Devi is asking that, why should we recite? What happens if we recite Gita? We may also have a question, right? Like, it's okay, we understand Gita and we imply in our life, but these verses, because they are spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself, these are so powerful. So Lord Shiva told very beautiful story to Parvati Devi. He said how there was once this Brahmana called Madhava. So he was a nice Brahman, doing whatever the Brahmanas are supposed to do, studying scriptures and all. But once it so happened that he wanted to perform a sacrifice. His son was not well. So he thought, I will perform a goat sacrifice. Now those days they used to do animal sacrifice. So he made an elaborate arrangement and had all nice celebration, got the goat. And as he was about to chop the head of the goat started speaking. But just laughing actually, more than speaking. He was wondering, how come you are able to, speak and laugh like a human? So then the goat says, actually I was a Brahman just like you in my previous life. And on insistence of my wife, I performed a goat sacrifice for pleasing Durga Devi. So look, today I became a goat. If you do this sacrifice, again you will also have to take a birth as goat. So he said, no, I am just doing it, for benefiting my son. So he said, oh, there are various other ways. He said, what is the other way? What I can do? So he said, oh, you don't know about Chandra Sharma? He said, who is Chandra Sharma? So then this goat tells this whole story to Madhava, the Brahmana. He says, there was this king called Chandra Sharma. And actually, this Kshatriya, Brahmana, Vaishya, Shudras, the Brahmanas are one who guide the kings with scriptural knowledge, and in turn the king is supposed to physically also serve the Brahmanas. It's not only that, okay, they give them protection, but the highest is when you actually do some kind of a personal service. But then these kings, they have so much management work, they never have time to personally serve the Brahmanas. So what he thought is that maybe I will personally gift some servant to the Brahmana who will serve the Brahmana on my behalf. That way my service is rendered. Like sometimes, in the Bhagavatam it says that the Grahasthas are supposed to take care of cow. But when we can't do it, we donate a cow to the temple. Okay, on my behalf they will do it. So on one fine morning, on the next day of Ekadasi, he took bath, and then he got one Shudra. Servants means Shudra class. And then he told this very nice Brahmana, he said, now I offer my servant to you, and for the rest of his life he will be your slave and he will take care of you. The Brahmana was happy. He is about to accept the donation. Just like when you donate a cow, they put the tail of the cow on the hand of the Brahmana and says, oh, here I give this cow to you. So he was putting the hand, okay, here I give this sevak to you. But lo and behold, there's some fearful kind of, actually the Shudra was also very black looking, and some fearful kind of ghost came out from the body of the Shudra, and another female ghost came out, and these two ghosts were attacking this Brahmana. But the Brahmana was very cool, he just recited some mantras, and as soon as he recited that mantra, lo and behold, the Vishnu Dutas themselves appeared, and they took care of this ghost, and that Shudra who had a black body, he also got purified. So now this king got pretty curious. He said, what is that mantra? You just recited a few words and you could, just control these ghosts. So the sage smiled. He said, I'm not a big mantra man. I don't know any mantra. No, but you did chant something. Oh, I just chanted few verses that I remember from the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. That's all I did. So then the king understood that, oh, this Bhagavad Gita 9th chapter is so powerful. Simply few verses can protect one from any kind of fear. Because in this material world there are so many kinds of fear. There is Adidevik, Adhyatmik, Adi Bhautik, and now so many kinds of diseases, so many kinds of situations we face. But this particular, like every chapter, all these 18 chapters has different significance. See, Hare Krishna Mahamantra is all in one. But when we do this kind of different recitations, it's like we are spiritually enjoying. Like you said, variety is the mother of enjoyment. Sometimes we are singing bhajans for Krishna, sometimes we are reciting verses, or sometimes we are chanting. Everything has the same effect, because also Krishna's name and Krishna's form and Krishna's words, which has emanated from his mouth, they are having the same potency. So this is one thing, like devotees can take shelter of, is like you just recite this verse and then one is free from all kind of fear. So this is what Lord Shiva shared with Parvati Devi. So we did that just now, and we read the 9th chapter. And of course, like the more we read, the verses become more easier for us to pronounce also. We now read the 12th chapter. Bhakti Yoga. Arjuno uvacha evam satata yukta ye bhaktasvam pariyupasate ye chapyaksharam avyaktam tesham ke yoga vittamaha. Shri Bhagavan uvacha maya veshya mano ye mam nitya yukta upasate shraddhaya parayopetas te me yukta tamamataha. ये तव्यक्षरमनिर्देश्यम् अव्यक्तं पर्युपासते सर्वत्र गमचिन्त्यं च कूटस्थं अचलं ध्रुवं सन्नियम्येन्द्रियग्रामं सर्वत्र समबुद्धया ते प्राप्नुवन्ति मामेव सर्वभूताहिते रतः क्लेशोऽधिकतरस्तेषाम् अव्यक्तासक्तचेतसाम् अव्यक्ता हि गतिर्दुःखं देहवद्भिमवाप्यति ये तु सर्वाणि कर्माणि मयि सन्न्यस्य मत्परा अन्ययैनेव योगेन माध्यायन्त उपासते तेषामहं समुद्धर्ता मृत्युसंसारसागरात् भवामि न चिरात् पार्थ मय्यावेशितचेतसां मय्येव मन आधत्स्व मयि बुद्धिनिवेशय निवशिष्यसि मय्येव अत ऊर्ध्वं न संशयः अथ चित्तं समादातुं न शक्नोषि मयि स्थिरम् अभ्यासयोगेन ततो मामिच्छाप्तुं धनञ्जय अभ्यासप्यसमर्थोऽसि मत्कर्मा परमो भव मदर्थमपि कर्माणि कुर्वं सिद्धिमवाप्यसि अथेदप्यसक्तोऽसि कर्तुम् मद्योगमाश्रितः सर्वकर्मफलत्याग तथा कुरु यतात्मान् श्रेयो हि ज्ञानमभ्यास ज्ञानात् ध्यानविशिष्यते ध्यानात् कर्मफलत्याग त्यागात् शान्तिरनन्तरम् अद्वेष्ट सर्वभूतानां मैत्र करुण एव च निर्ममो निरहङ्कार समदुःख सुखष्टमी सन्तुष्ट सततं योगी यतात्मा दृढनिश्चयः मय्यार्पितमनो बुद्धि यो मद्भक्ता समे प्रियः यस्मानो द्विजते लोको लोकानो द्विजते च यः हर्षमर्षभयोद्वेगे मुक्तो या स च मे प्रियः अनपेक्षा शुचिर्दक्षा उदासीनो गताव्यथा सर्वारम्भपरित्यागी यो मद्भक्ता समे प्रियः यो न हर्षति न द्वेषति न शोचति न काङ्क्षति शुभाशुभपरित्यागी भक्तिमान् समे प्रियः समशत्रो च मित्रे च तथा मानपमानयो शीतोष्णसुखदुःखेषु समसङ्गविवर्जितः तुल्यनिन्दास्तुतिर्मौनी सन्तुष्ट येन केनचित् स्थिरमतिर्भक्तिमान् प्रियो नरः ये तु धर्मामृतम् इदं यथोक्तं पर्युपासते श्रद्धाधनमत्परमा भक्तस्तेतिव मे प्रियः इति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्ण अर्जुन संवादे भक्तियोग नामः 12ोऽध्यायः हरिः ओम तत्सत्. There is a beautiful pastime about this chapter also. So how there was this one king who was performing an Ashwamedha Yajna, but somehow untimely he died. So his son is supposed to continue. So but his son is worried that the king has left the yagam half done. So what to do? So when his father died, he just took the dead body and put it inside oil, and then he was in search of somebody who can revive his father. So he went to Kolhapur. In Kolhapur there is very, very famous temple of Mahalakshmi Devi. So he went in there and he was praying very sincerely and honestly to Mahalakshmi Devi. And Lakshmi Devi says, "Oh, your problem is very simple. Just when you get out of the temple, on the right side you will see a sadhu sitting. Just go and tell him and he'll sort out your problem." So here the prince comes out and he's just searching, who is that sadhu? And he finds somebody very, very grave looking. So his name is Siddha Samadhi. So he just approaches. He said, "Mahalakshmi has asked me to approach you. Can you help me?" So I said, "What's your problem?" "Oh, this is what happened, and my father's body is right there in the oil, and I don't know what I'm supposed to do." So he said, "Fine, very simple. Take me there." So he takes him to that body, and there he just asks the devatas, and he just invites everybody and does some performance, and then the father is revived. So then the prince asked, Siddhi, how you are getting, how you got that kind of siddhi, how you're able to revive a body. So he said, no, very simple. Every single day I chant Bhakti Yoga, the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. That's all I do. That's my sadhana. I do it every single day. So because of that, this is very simple thing for me. And on my call and beck and call, I can invite any devatas whenever I want, because I'm doing this Bhakti Yoga recitation. Because when somebody chants and Krishna's name or the verses and all, the demigods also become so happy and they want to serve that devotee. So this is a very, very important chapter. We'll now do the 15th chapter. Purushottama Yoga. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Urvamoolamada-shakam asvattam prahuravyayam Chandamsi yasya parnani yastam veda savedavid Adaschodvam prasutastasya shaka Guna pravudha vishaya pravala Adasya moolani anusantatani Karmanubandhini manushya-loke Narupamasyeha tatopalabhyate Namto na chadir na cha sampratishtha Ashvattamenam suviruddha moolam Asanga shastrena dridena chitva Tathapadam tat parimargitavyam Yasmin gatana nivatanti bhuya Tameva chadyam purusham prapadye Yata praviti prasita purani Nirmana moha jita sanga dosha Adhyatma nitya vinivritta kama Dvandver vimukta sukha dukkha sange Gacchanti mudha padamavyayam tat Natad bhashayate suryo Nashashanko na pavakaha Yad gatva na nivartante Tadhama paramam mama Mamevam sho jivaloke Jivabhuta sanatanaha Manashashtani indriyani Prakriti sthani karshati Sariram yad avapnoti Yad chapi utkramatishvaraha Grihitvaitani samyati Vayur gandhani vashayat Totram chakshusparshanam cha Rasanam ghranameva cha Adhishtaya manaschayam Vishayanupasevate Utkramantam stutam vapi Bhunjanam va gunanvitam Vimudhananupashyanti Pashyanti gnana chakshusha Yatanto yoginaschainam Pashyanti atmani avasthitam Yatantopi akritatmano Nainam pashyanta chetasa Yad adityagatam tejo Jagad bhashayate khilam Yad chandramasi yad chagno Tat tejo vidhimamakam Gama vishya bhutani Dharayami ahamojasha Pushnami chaushadi sarve Somo bhutvo rasatmakaha Aham vishwanaro bhutva Pranina dehamasitaha Prana prana samayuktam Pachami annam chaturvidham Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto Matta smriti gnana pohanam cha Vedescha sarve rahameva vedyo Vedanta kritveda vid eva chaham Dvaima purusho loke sharas chakshara eva cha Shara sarvani bhutani kutosto shara uchyate Uttamaha purushasta anya parmatmiti udahritaha Yo lokatrayama avishya bibarti avyaya ishvaraha Yasmad sharamati toham aksharadapi chotamaha Atosmi loka vedecha pratita purushotama Yo mamevamasamudho janati purushotama Sa sarvavid bhajati mam sarvabhavena bharataha Iti guhyatamam shastram idam uktam maya nagaha Etad buddhva buddhiman syat krita krityascha bharataha Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Purushottama Yoga Namaha Panchadashodhyayaha Harihi Om Tat Sat. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. There is a beautiful story with chapter also. There was this king who went for hunting on horseback, And then he was very tired after the whole day's hunting. So in the evening he decided to take rest under a tree in the deep dense forest, because he could see that his horse was pretty tired and feeling very weak. So as he was sitting under a tree, he saw there is some, those days the rishis and the munis, they used to write on those palm leaves. So he just found something and he's just trying to read, okay, what is this written, and he just read 4 lines of it. And in front of him he sees that his horse is leaving the body, and now to take the soul of this horse, the plane from Vaikuntha comes and takes the soul of the horse back, and is wondering what exactly happened. I'm here at hunting and I see this sort of things happening. So he thought to his mind that because I found these palm leaves here, parched ones, maybe there must be some sadhus, ashram nearby. So he walks deep inside the forest, and then he finds an ashram of a sadhu called Vishnu Sharma. So he goes and takes shelter. He said, Swamiji, I just, something really special happened just now. I was just reading these verses, and my horse left body and a plane from Vaikuntha came. Vishnu Sharma smiled. He said, oh, this is just one single verse of chapter 15, Purushottam Yoga. So he said, how come, my horse got delivered just like that? So he said, actually, this horse, was your minister previously, and he actually conspired against you with your son and wanted to take over the kingdom. But he died of cholera, and then he got this horse body. And now when you recited this verse and he had Shravanam, he heard those words, he could immediately be delivered. And then the king thought, maybe then he should also continue reading it. So he was the king of Gauda Desha, and after some time he handed over the kingdom to his son, and he also continued reciting this 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita every single day. And at the fag end of his life, when he left the body, the Vaikuntha plane came to take him also. So it's like this, that's why you see during certain death anniversaries also, these are certain chapters, second chapter and the 15th chapter, they do recite this for the benefit of, Purva, those who are leaving the body, and for them to go back home, back to God. It's a very, very powerful chapter. Today is very auspicious, Sat-Tila Ekadasi. So actually you're supposed to eat sesame on Sat-Tila Ekadasi. We're supposed to donate sesame, we're supposed to eat sesame, we're supposed to drink water with sesame, we're supposed to take bath with sesame. It's completely, Sat-Tila Ekadashi is more about sesame. But very special about this Ekadashi is, in this Ekadashi there is a lot of importance of donating or grains, grains in the sense on the next day of Ekadashi or Dwadashi you have to donate grains, not money, not cow, nothing but grains. So there is this very special pastime here when Narad Muni asked about this Ekadashi to Lord Shri Krishna. So he tells a very interesting incident. He said that there was this female Brahmani. She was very wonderful, very sweet nature, nice Vaishnava qualities, giving charitable, performing lots of fast, Purushottamas, Adhikmas, Ekadashi, everything. So Lord says to Narada that when I saw her behavior, I thought she's completely qualified. I should take her back home, back to Godhead. But one last test, I thought, let me just check, So Lord says, I dressed as a beggar, and then I went and asked her for alms. So instead of, giving her alms to the Lord, don't know what mood she was in, she just took some mud, made it into a ball and throwed it on the Lord. Just get lost, I don't want to give you anything. So what the Lord did is, with that mud which she had thrown on the Lord actually made a place for her in Vaikuntha, the mud house. And then since she was completely qualified otherwise, accepting, Lord says to Narada that I was amazed by her this kind of behavior, because otherwise she was pretty charitable about everything. So then finally when she came back, she came to Vaikuntha, she got her new residential quarters. It's like interplanet travels, and then when you finally reach there, you have somebody who will give you your quarter keys and show you room around. So I said, okay, yeah, welcome, this is the place you have to stay. So she went inside the house and she says, it's a mud house. Now Vaikuntha is Chintamani Dham, and you have all the jewels embedded and nice palaces, and she was wondering how come I got a mud house, but that's what she gave to the Lord. So fine, she was okay with that, but when she entered inside the mud house, there was no furniture and nothing to eat also. So now she started praying to Lord Janardhan, So what did I do wrong? I did fasting, I did all the austerities, I did all the right things, I gave a lot of charities, and how come you never, So of course the Lord said that there's one mistake that you did is you never gave in charity grains. You gave wealth, you gave your own house, but you never gave grains in charity. So she was wondering, but what am I supposed to do now? So will I get some prasadam here or not? The Lord says, close the door of your house, this mud house. Very soon, some other ladies who reside here, they'll come to see, because you are the new neighbor now, they'll call upon you. So don't open the door. So when they talk to you, when they knock your door, you tell them, dear ladies, can you please let me know what is, Sat-Tila Ekadashi's importance, and once they tell you that, only then you open the door. So she said, fine. So that's what she does when this Ekadashi, these ladies come, the wives of demigods or different people who stay there in Vaikuntha, they come to see who is the new lady who has entered Vaikuntha. She says, I'll not open the door, please tell me about Sat-Tila Ekadashi. When these ladies, they oh, you don't know about Sat-Tila Ekadashi, this is the importance, and then after hearing that, she actually performs Sat-Tila Ekadashi, and once that is done, and lo and behold, she gets all the opulence, and she happily in Vaikuntha. So Lord is telling this to Narada Muni, that Sat-Tila Ekadashi is very important, one should do that, and the best way to end this Ekadashi is on Dwadasi to donate some grains. Every Ekadashi, you'll have different this, donate a water pot, donate chappals, donate grains, different, donate cow. This particular Ekadashi is this, feed with sesame and then donate grain. So that is what is Sat-Tila Ekadashi. So we will now recite the names of Ekadashi. Actually, those who are, now we are all devotees, we are doing Ekadashi regularly, but if somebody doesn't know anything about Ekadashi, just newcomer in our family, sometimes we get somebody from India or they don't do Ekadashi, at least for the first timers, if they hear these names of 26 Ekadashi, they get benefit of doing Ekadashi. But it's not applicable to us. We have to do Ekadashi.
Tell you one story about Ekadashi, just one.
Yes. So I will recite now the names. Okay, but shall I share it with you? You have the names?
No.
Okay, then I will recite. You can just you can follow. Otherwise, you can follow. Okay. Utpanna Ekadashi. Mokshada Ekadashi. Safala Ekadashi. Putrada Ekadashi. Sat-Tila Ekadashi. Jaya Ekadashi. Vijaya Ekadashi. Amalaki Ekadashi. Papamochani Ekadashi. Kamada Ekadashi. Varutini Ekadashi. Mohini Ekadashi. Apara Ekadashi. Nirjala Ekadashi. Yogini Ekadashi. Devashayana Ekadashi. Kamika Ekadashi. Pavitropana Ekadashi. Aja Ekadashi. Parvartini Ekadashi. Indira Ekadashi. Papankusha Ekadashi. Rama Ekadashi. Uttana Ekadashi. Padmini Ekadashi. Parama Ekadashi. Ekadashi Mahamahotsav ki. Now we will recite the Bhramasamita. Recitations complete hoye gale? Last is I'm sorry if I'm pushing you all to do this, but this has been my Ekadashi sadhana for many years now, and I'm asking you also to do this with me. I do it every Ekadashi, like complete whole recitations in the morning after Mangala Aarti. Many devotees around the world join on Zoom for Ekadashi special sadhana, and we all do it together. So we'll just complete it. Anyway, I'll have to do it. So Bhramasamita we will recite. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam चिन्तामणि प्रकरसद्मसुकल्पवृक्ष लक्षावृतेषु सुरभिरभिपालयन्तं लक्ष्मीसहस्रशतसम्भ्रमसेव्यमानं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। वेणुं कवन्तमरविन्ददलायताक्षं बर्हावतं समसितं बुधसुन्दराङ्गं कन्दर्पकोटिकमनीयविशेषशोभं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। आलोलचन्द्रकलसाद्वनमाल्यवंशी रत्नाङ्गदं प्रणयकेलिकलाविलासं श्यामं त्रिभङ्गललितान्नियतां प्रकाशं गोविन्दम् आदिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। अङ्गानि यस्य सकलेन्द्रियवृत्तिमन्ति पश्यान्ति पान्ति कलयन्ति चिरं जगन्ति आनन्दचिन्मयसदुज्ज्वलविग्रहास्य गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। अद्वैतमच्युतमनादिमनन्तरूपम् आद्यं पुराणपुरुषं नवयौवनं च वेदेषु दुर्लभमदुर्लभमात्मभक्तो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। पङ्कस्तु कोटिशतवत्सरसम्प्रगम्यो वायुरथापि मनसो मुनिपुङ्गवानं सोऽप्यस्ति यत्प्रपदशिं न विचिन्त्य तत्त्वे गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। एकोपसोर्चयितं जगदन्तकोटिं यच्शक्तिरस्तजगदन्तचयद्य अन्तः अन्दन्तरस्तपरमानुचयन्तरस्तं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। यद्भावभावितधियो मनुजस्तथैव सम्प्राप्य रूपमहिमासनयानुभूषः शुक्तेयमेव निगमा प्रतिते स्तुवन्ति गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। आनन्दचिन्मयरसा प्रतिभाविताभिस्ताभियैव निजरूपतया कलाभिः गोलोकयेव निवसात किलात्मभूतो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। प्रेमाञ्जनाचुरितभक्तिविलोचनेन सन्ता सदैव हृदयेषु विलोकयन्ति यं श्यामसुन्दरमचिन्त्य गुणस्वरूपं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। रामादिमूर्तिषु कलानियमेन तिष्ठान् नानावतारमकरोद्भुवनेषु किन्तु कृष्णा स्वयं समभवत्परमपुमन्यो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। यस्य प्रभा प्रभवतो जगदन्तकोटि कोटिशेषवसुधादिविभूतिभुन्नं तद्ब्रह्म निष्कलमनन्तमशेषभूतं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। माया हि यस्य जगदन्तशतानि सूते त्रैगुण्यतद्विषयवेदवितायमाना सात्वावलम्बि परसत्त्वविशुद्धसत्त्वं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। आनन्दचिन्मयरसा मतया मनाशु या प्राणिनां प्रतिफलं स्मरतम् उपेत्य लीलायतेन भुवनानि जयातजस्रं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि गोलोकनाम्नि निजधाम्नि तले च तस्या देवी महेश हरिधाम श्रुतेषु तेषु ते ते प्रभावनिचया विहितश्च येन गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि सृष्टिस्थितिप्रलयसाधनशक्तिरेका चायेव यस्य भुवनानि बिभर्ति दुर्गा इच्छानुरूपमपि यस्य च चेष्टते सा गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि क्षीरं यथा दधि विकारविशेषयोगात् संजायते न हि तथा पृथगस्ति हेतो या सम्भूतम् अपि तथा समुपैति कर्यात् गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि दीपाचियेव हि दशन्तरमभ्युपेत्य दीपायते विवरिता हेतु समानधर्मा यस्तद्रिगेव हि च विष्णुतया विभाति गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि या कारणानवजले भजति स्म योगा निद्रम् अनन्तजगदन्तसरोमकूपा आधारशक्तिमवलम्ब्य परं स्वमूर्तिं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यस्येकनिश्वसितकालमथावलम्ब्यो जीवन्ति लोमविलजा जगदन्दनाथा विष्णु महास इह यस्य कला विशेषो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि बाष्वान्यतश्मशकलेषु निजेषु तेजः स्वीयं क्लयात् प्रकटयादपि तद्वदत्र ब्रह्मा यये स जगदन्धविधानकर्ता गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यत्पादपल्लवयुगं विनिधाय कुम्भा द्वन्द्वे प्रणामसमयेषु गणाधिराजा विघ्नान् विहन्तुमलमस्य जगत्त्रयस्य गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि अग्निर्मही गगन अम्बुमरुद्दिशश्च कालस्ततात्ममनसीति जगत्त्रयानि यस्माद्भवन्ति विभवन्ति विशन्ति यं च गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यच्चक्षुरेष सविता सकलाग्रहाणां राजा समस्तसुरमूर्तिरशेषतेजः यस्य ज्ञया भ्रमति संवृतकालचक्रो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि धर्मोतपापनिचया श्रुतया तपंषि ब्रह्मादिकीटपतगावदयश्च जीवः यद्दातमत्र विभवा प्रकटप्रभावा गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यस्व इन्द्रगोपमथवेन्द्रमहोस्वकर्मा बन्धानुरूपफलभाजनमातनोति कर्माणि निर्दहति किन्तु च भक्तिभाजं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यं क्रोधकामसहजा प्रणयादिभीति वात्सल्यमोहगुरुगौरवसेव्यभावे सञ्चिन्त्य तस्य सदिशं तनुमापुरेति गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि श्रियः कान्तः कान्तः परमपुरुषः कल्पतरो द्रुमभूमि चिन्तामणि गणमयि तोयम् अमृतं कथागानं नाट्यं गमनम् अपि वंशी प्रियसखी चिदानन्दं ज्योति परमपि तदा स्वाद्यम् अपि च स यात्रा क्षीराब्धि श्रवति सुरभिभ्यश्च सुमहान् निमेषार्धक्यो वा व्रजति न हि यत्रपि समयः भजे श्वेतद्वीपं तमहम् इह गोलोकम् इतीयं विदन्तस्ते सन्तः क्षितिविरलचरः कटिपये Bhramasamita ki jai. Now we'll just recite any one random verse from Mukunda Mala Sotra with purport. With that we can end. We can start with the first verse only. So I'll recite one line, you can recite with me. Shri Vallabheti Varadeti Dayapareti Shri Vallabheti Varadeti Dayapareti Bhakta Priyeti Bhavalunthana Kovideti Bhakta Priyeti Bhavalunthana Kovideti Natheti Nagashayaneti Jagannivasati Natheti Nagashayaneti Jagannivasati Alapinam pratidinam kuru mam mukunda Alapinam pratidinam kuru mam mukunda Shri Vallabha, O beloved of Lakshmi, the Supreme Lord's consort. Iti, thus, Varada, O bestower of benedictions. Iti, thus, Dayapara, O causelessly merciful one. Iti, thus, Bhaktapriya, O you who are very dear to your devotees. Iti, thus, Bhava, the repetition of birth and death. Lunthana, in plundering. Kovida, O you who are expert. Iti, thus, Natha, O Lord. Iti, thus, Nagashayana, O Lord who sleeps on the serpent bed. Iti, thus, Jagatnivasa, O resort of the cosmos. Iti, thus, Alpinam, reciter, Pratidinam, every day. Kuru, please make, Mam, may, Mukunda, O Mukunda. Translation. O Mukunda, my Lord, please let me become a constant reciter of your names, addressing you as Shri Vallabha, who is very dear to Lakshmi, Varada, who is bestower of benedictions, Dayapara, who is so causelessly merciful, Bhaktapriya, who is very dear to his devotees, Bhavaluntana Kovida, who is expert at plundering the status quo of repeated birth and death, Natha, the Supreme Lord, Jagannivasa, the resort of the cosmos, Nagashayana, the Lord, who lies down on the serpent bed. A devotee of Godhead is he who glorifies the personality of Godhead under the dictation of transcendental ecstasy. Persons who are infected with the disease of material attachment and who suffer from pangs of repeated birth and death will not relish such recitation of the Lord's glory, just as a person suffering from jaundice cannot relish the taste of sugar candy. By nature, sugar is sweet, but it is bitter for patients who are suffering from jaundice. Still, sugar is the best medicine for jaundice. By regular treatment with doses of sugar candy, one will gradually get relief from the infection. In the same way, glorification of the name, fame, attribute, pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead may taste bitter for those who are suffering from infection of material consciousness, but it is very sweet to those who have recovered from this infection. King Kulashekara, who is an ideal devotee of the Lord, shows us by his own realization how we should offer prayers to the Lord. Since he is a Mahajana, an authority in the line of devotional service, it is our prime duty to follow in his footsteps. He is addressing Lord as Shri Vallabha. He is also addressing Lord as Varada, the bestower of benedictions. He is addressing the Lord as Dayapara, who is causelessly merciful. all merciful Lord is always mindful of our difficulties in the mundane world. He is more eager than we are that we should return back to Him, back to Godhead. He is by nature merciful towards us. Even in our rebellious condition, we get all our necessities from Him, like food, air, light, water, warmth and coolness. Yet because we have detached ourselves from Him, we are simply mismanaging this paternal property. The leaders of the society, despite all their materialistic plans, are misleaders, for they have no plan to revive our lost relationship with the Lord. The Lord is also addressed as Bhakta Priya, who is very dear to His devotees. He is very affectionate to His devotees. In Bhagavad Gita 9.29, the Lord describes His sublime and transcendental affection for His devotee. The Lord declares that undoubtedly He is equally kind to all living beings, because all living beings are part and parcel of Him. An example of such a devotee, pure devotee, is Jesus Christ, who agreed to be mercifully crucified rather than give up preaching on behalf of God. Sometimes, even at the risk of having to cross many stumbling blocks, a devotee relinquishes all family connections and homely efforts for the Lord's service. Can the Lord forget all the sacrifice of His devotee? No, not even for a moment. For the relationship between the Lord and His devotee is reciprocal. A devotee is never eager to see the Lord as he is eager to render service to Him. Yet the Lord appears before His devotee, for He is just like an affectionate father who is more eager to see his son than the son is to see him. A father is naturally inclined to act for the good of his son, and when the father chastises his son, this chastisement is also mixed with affection. For His devotee, the Lord personally descends in this world and gives them relief, saves them from insane acts of miscreant. As soon as a person agrees to surrender to the Lord takes complete charge of him. Satisfied with the activities of such a devotee, He gives him instruction from within, and thus the devotee becomes pure and advances on the path of back home, back to Godhead. King Kulashekar Alwar ki jai. Now we'll just remember the names of the holy rivers, since today is Ekadashi. Ganga Maiya ki jai, Jamuna Maiya ki jai, Narmada, Tapti, Kaveri, Brahmaputra, Gomati Nadis ki jai, Alakananda ki jai, Sarayu Nadi ki jai. Now we'll remember the holy Dhams. Mayapur Dham ki jai, Navadvip Mayapur Dham ki jai, Jagannathpuri Dham ki jai, Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Dwarkapuri Dham ki jai, Ayodhya Dham ki jai, Jagannathpuri Dham ki jai, Naimisharanya Dham ki jai. Now we will remember the deities of all the Goswamis. Shri Radha Govinda Dev ki jai, Shri Radha Madan Mohan ki jai, Shri Radha Madhav ki jai, Shri Radha Shama Sundar ki jai, Shri Radha Giridhari ki jai, Shri Radha Vinod Bihari ki jai, Shri Avadhiya Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you so much, dear devotees. Now we can do whatever we want to do. Who wants to tell one story for Ekadashi?
Srila Prabhupada ki. In Vishnu Purana there is a nice story about Ekadashi. One king, it was in Satyuga, one king, he declared that every citizen has to follow Ekadashi. So he made a system that citizen may forget Ekadashi. So one day before, he told everywhere, he was a ruler, emperor of the whole world. He made a system one day before his man will go and put a drum and announce, day after tomorrow they can Ekadashi, everybody is to follow. So it was so popular, all used to follow. Reason being that if you follow Ekadashi, then you don't need to go to Jamloka. So, how many like to go to Jamloka? Anybody like to go to Jamloka? So, how many doesn't like to go to Jamloka? Okay. So now we are in the same page. So because of good Ekadashi following, they all were not going to Jamloka. But ISKCON Prabhupada know that we will not follow nice Ekadasi. So he made a system of feasting on Ekadashi day. That means have better prasadam. In my temple, in many temples, the Ekadashi day devotee will not go anywhere. He said, Prabhuji, today is Ekadashi. So you have not gone preaching? No, Prabhuji, today is Ekadashi. Means you eat nicely and take rest, nothing else. And chanting means, you know very well that ISKCON, when we chant, we sleep very nicely, you know. Bhagavatam class and chanting, that's why in ISKCON there is no problem of sleeping, nobody having sleeping disease. Because as soon as Bhagavatam class, will sit next to the wall and doze very nicely. So you have heard the class, yes Prabhuji, I have heard, you speak so nicely, Prabhuji. You always speak very nicely, Prabhuji. But nothing goes, you know. So because of Ekadashi, so all were following nicely and nobody was going to Yamaloka. So Yamaloka, one time he saw that everybody is sleeping. Chitragupta having no job, he is sitting, all his workers they are sleeping. He said, this is a very big problem. Nobody is there. Whole Yamaloka is empty. So he went to Brahma. He said, bring out some solution. I have no job. You all gave me the job, but nothing to do there. Nobody is there. So this means that if we follow Ekadasi, we don't need to go to Yamaloka. But basically, we should supposed to follow nicely. There should be no grains. There should be minimum food. That means maybe little fruits or little milk is okay. But usually in ISKCON, we know that people will not follow nicely. So we made a system that we should have a very lavish prasadam so that all will follow. And when I was in Delhi as a president, Punjabis, वो बोलते सामदास जी ये कोई तरीका है आप किसी को भूखा रख दोगे खाने नहीं दोगे एकादशी इसको छोड़ो बाकी सारे ठीक है जब तब तो ठीक है लेकिन ये एकादशी ये नहीं होता हम लोग से इट्स नॉट पॉसिबल टू डे एकादशी देन आई मेड ए सिस्टम दैट एनीबॉडी इन आवर रेडियस यू कैन कलेक्ट प्रसादम एकादशी डे फ्री प्रसादम you send your driver or worker, anybody, let them come with tiffin curry and take the prasad and we go. So because of that system, within 2-3 years, though they don't believe in Ekadashi, but many they started doing Ekadashi because prasadam was excellent. They get free prasadam, very nice, sagu, then a lot of patties, other things, fruits, everything was free. So due to that, many they followed Ekadashi. So Srila Prabhupada knowing very well what sort of devotee we are. So that's why he made a system. See, because he started the movement very mature age. He knew in Kali Yuga what sort of people will be. So he made a, believe me, in ISKCON many temples, the brahmacharis, devotee, they wait. When is the Ekadashi? So if we have to follow actually Ekadashi, as I told, it should be very strict. It's not that we have lavish prasadam, but because we cannot follow, better to have a nice prasadam, fruit prasadam, but we can follow. At least we will follow. But if you follow nicely, then what happens? We don't need to at least. But usually devotee doesn't go to Yamaloka. Usually. Unless somebody is a hypocrite. If somebody is hypocrite in the name of spirituality, not follow, but he shows he is a devotee, but is not devotee, then he has to be punished. Otherwise, no. Devotees, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says the devotees, he may take 2-3 lifetime, he'll go back to Godhead. But it was Srila Prabhupada said, let us go back to Godhead in this lifetime only. So, I don't know how many can make it, but I am saying that Srila Prabhupada is very serious. In every lecture says, why to suffer in this world? Let us go back to God. And the way he used to say that as if he's from Goloka. Back to God, it means back to our house. So the person who is from that place, he only says that let us go to our place back. So if you see all the acharyas, only Srila Prabhupada says let us go back to God. Let us go back to God. Back to home, back to home, back to God. So every lecture he used to say let us go back to home. So that seriousness he had for the people in general. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told that Prithiviti Ashe Jato Nagaradi Gram Sarvatra Prachar Haibe Mornam. That one day all over the world, every town and village, they will chant Krishna's name. That was his wish. And Srila Prabhupada told very nicely, Prithiviti Asamadra Nadanadi Sakale Loi Krishna Nam Tahale Ananda Hai Tabe Hai Digvijay Chaitanir Kathashita. He said not only just the every town and village, but even the trees, even the ocean, even the beast, birds, animal, everybody should chant Krishna's name. That is the heart of Srila Prabhupada. And I give you one insight. When Srila Prabhupada left this planet, preaching in America was good, Europe was nice, Australia was nice. Australia was the place, center who was supporting at that time Mayapur. Mayapur had no money. So it was before Srila Prabhupada, some money was coming from USA, Europe, but they stopped because of zonal system. But our head in here, he supported for many years, maybe 8-9 years, total support from Australia. So that's how Mayapur came. But what I want to say that in India there was only few centers. Mayapur, Vrindavan, Bombay, Hyderabad temple was there. And where else? Only Chandigarh there was a land, Bhubaneswar there was a land. And most of the places, a house, like you have a house, like a 2-floor house or 3-floor. Everywhere, either say Chennai or Calcutta or Delhi or and other places, all over rented place. Even Bangalore, there was no center. And you see, Srila Prabhupada wanted, that's why you see everywhere is there. And everywhere is flourishing. Today in ISKCON, India, they are having more than 350 centers. And temples are built in a very big way. It's like a royal temple. Or a royal family can build temple. So it is Srila Prabhupada, what I mean to say, the Srila Prabhupada's purity as an acharya, as a guru, as a very dear to Krishna. He is a Senapati Bhakta. And Narottama Das Thakur told that one day, Vrindavan Das Thakur told, Chaitanya Mangal, Lochan Das Thakur says, that one day one Senapati Bhakta will come and he will preach these glories all over the world. And Rupa Sanatana wanted that somebody, we are only writing books and doing Vrindavan Dham's renovation, but we want somebody should do in future this. And Srila Prabhupada certainly. So we must take this shelter of such a great, very dear to the Lord. And only then we have hope. According to scripture, you see, read Bhagavatam, it says that only if you have shelter of pure devotee, only then you can cross over these nations. Sanatana Goswami confirmed. In Bhagavatam, many places, it's only you have to have very pure devotee, and his shelter, his lotus feet, we can cross over these nations. So if we are serious, then we have to keep our mind. Srila Prabhupada is not an ordinary person. He is a very dear to Lord, who can do this much. If if you just calculate in India, there were many saintly persons, many Vaishnavas, many Acharyas. But who has done this much? Only Srila Prabhupada. Yes or no?
Yes.
Today we are here. I remember I came to Australia, I forgot the year, either 86 or 87. I came with Surabhi Maharaj. Because he is a big man, as his servant, I was also treated like a VIP. So wherever you go, nice place, nice prasadam everywhere, and all arrangements were made. Even those days, I used to travel with him, Europe, America, here, many other countries. And it may be possibly Bhavanand Maharaj gave free ticket for both of us. Maybe some design, I forgot actually. I was young, too young. They are hardly 23 years old. No. So you see, though here so many things happen, but preaching is expanding for sure. Now it's congregation, they are going on and preaching everywhere. It's expanding. In Middle East there was nothing. There's a lot of preaching going on. Russia, other India it was difficult. I was telling that in India people were misunderstanding. You all don't know. Way back 45 years back, 43 years back when I joined, people were very critical about ISKCON. At that time in Calcutta there was a lot of misgiving. All the newspapers were saying something wrong with ISKCON. They said British came and they started occupying India from Polashi. Polashi is very near to Mayapur. Polashi is around maybe 15-20 kilometers from Mayapur. Now American came, they are CIA agent, they are going to occupy all over India. So that was and then at that time Devananda, he made one video taking some ISKCON shots and mixing everybody. They requested, Prabhupada was there. Prabhupada thought maybe it's positive. But when it came out, it was against ISKCON. And you all know Dham, right? Movie. It was very bad. Wherever we used to go, they said, you people take intoxicant. I said, Prabhuji, we don't take. No, you don't take. Maybe your people are taking. You are young, you don't know. Then some of them, they says, you all are CIA agent. I said, Prabhuji, we don't know what is CIA. No, you don't know, but your authority they know. Right? I remember in Guwahati, I went to make one Madhwari life member. I said, Prabhuji, why not you become member? That was 80. He said, even though you are CIA, but because you are doing something for Hindu, I'll become member. So that was the situation, right? So bad. But Krishna's plan, and let me tell you one thing, at the end, you all know that Tamal Krishna Maharaj was there with Srila Prabhupada for 9 months. So Tamal Krishna Maharaj asked Prabhupada, what is your last will, what do you want? He said, you European, American, you believe in change. And after some time, you may change. So I want in India, big ashram with guest rooms, Vridhashram especially, so that devotees from all over the world, especially those who are foreign devotees, they come, they stay in India and practice Krishna Bhakti. And whenever they feel like, they can go to their respective country and preach. If they cannot preach, let them stay in India. That was what I heard from Tamal Krishna Maharaj. In Veda Vaishnava, not everything is there. There are so many conversations, it's not there. So Srila Prabhupada wanted that at least the base in India should be strong, and there should be nice preaching, and we should accommodate devotees from all over the world to practice there. Now coming to the point, your Ekadasi. See, when Yamaraj went to Brahma says, then what is the solution? He said, I want my service back. But there is no service. Everybody is sleeping. Wherever I go, my people have no job. They are eating and sleeping. If there is no service, they will eat and sleep. So The Brahma says that in this world only one solution is there. You have to trick people. So he tricked that king, and king by the time he was old, so he could not take the king, and he tricked his son, and with some pretty girl, and son got bewildered. Then again it started. And that shows, and then they stopped this Ekadashi. So that shows that if we follow spirituality, some way we can overcome this reaction, karmic reaction. But if we don't follow, then the karmic reaction will come. Srila Prabhupada also told that if possible, we should chant little more, especially those who are householder. He didn't initiate much congregation in India or abroad, very few. But he told you chant more. But some they said Prabhupada didn't insist on Ekadashi, but in India especially he insisted Ekadashi. Other places also, let there be feast. But Srila Prabhupada said, anyway, we are not here only for Ekadashi. Every day we take prasadam. If somehow for some reason somebody break, that's a different question, but for preaching. But otherwise he insisted very much. Ekadashi should be such a way that devotees will not follow, not even understand that they are following Ekadashi. What will happen is that otherwise, if the prasadam is very peculiar, that Western devotee, they may not like it. They may not take also. So we must, how many you are following Ekadashi, by the way? Oh, everybody. Very good. So some ISKCON Guru, they said in Ekadashi day you chant 25 rounds. That's what they said, there should be more chanting. Chanting also, that if somebody having time, one should chant. Not that because in ISKCON, some of them, they take Diksha, they think they can do everything, but chanting they think is very big burden. And some, I have seen in our temple also, whenever they complete 16 hours, Prabhuji, my 16 round is over. As if he had a headache in his head and now it's over. That should not be the attitude. Nam Prabhu, Nam Mida Kichu Nahiko Aro Chodavo Manmaji. If we have holy name, holy name will take us back to Godhead. So holy name is that we have to have love, because we cannot see Krishna, but we cannot capture Krishna. Even if we see Krishna, Krishna will not be with us, but the holy name will be with us. The holy name will take us back to Godhead. So we take shelter of holy name only. That's how we should do. And we should have love for holy name. I have seen many devotees, they do a lot of good service, they are very nice every day. But as far as chanting, they are not very together. Chanting. But unless somebody, big devotee, I don't want to name it, but they don't give importance to the holy name. Okay, I'll ask you one question. That service is certainly important, but what about if we don't follow what Srila Prabhupada has told for rules and chanting? Acharya knows or we know better? Guru knows better or we know better? So if Guru knows better, then we should follow strictly what Guru says. Srila Prabhupada, actually Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati wanted 1 lakh names. Srila Prabhupada initially started for 1 lakh. It didn't work out. Then it's okay 32. But even that didn't work out. That's okay at least 16. So Srila Prabhupada very kindly told, okay, 16 rounds. But even that, if we think, actually I'm doing so much service, so it's all right, And let me give you some tips about chanting. If you take your mala and start chanting, you can chant. If you have any problem with the mala, you take one clicker. If you just practice, you can chant. It's just matter of practice. If you keep on chanting, holy name will help you to chant. So only thing is that somehow take the mala or take the clicker and start. My grandmother, my my uncle was sannyasi, so my grandmother also used to chant. So young age when we were there, Thakurma, আমার জন্য আমাকে আজ পরীক্ষা আছে আমার জন্য এক মালা জপ করে হ্যাঁ করে দেবো so I'll do it. Anybody would have said you chant one mala for me, she would never say no. She would say yes. But then I thought in a day she gets promise about 10, 15, 20. How she does so much mala? And she would have, but one time I saw she used to do mala different way, like that. Like this. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Rama Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. I said, if this is the way to 200, 300, 400 times, 500 times, then I said, Thakurma, এইভাবে কি জব করে না না আমি বুড়ি তো আমার বয়স এখন 85 বছর আমার জন্যই যথেষ্ট so I'm 85 for me this is enough no I'm doing but she used to chant nothing to do. She had so many daughter-in-law, morning even nothing to do, just eat and chant, take care of the body and chant. So we used to chant from morning till night, nothing to, just chanting, just walk around and chant. So we have to be serious also that how we are chanting. Don't chant like my grandmother was chanting. So we have to, each mala we should respect. If we do that, there are so many type of devotee. Some they chant only, but Srila Prabhupada says that's also not good because if somebody is very energetic, very young, then we should do some seva also. Then it will be good. That's what Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati told that young people should do seva and chanting both. Basically, if you go deeply to go back to Godhead, it is not that easy unless we are purified. So Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati he saw that in this world that so many Mayavadis, so many other Sunyavadi, they are preaching. They are wearing saffron clothes, they are preaching all over the world. And these Vaishnavas, they were not preaching. So he thought somehow let us have a saffron clothes and preach. And there is one way by chanting, purifying one go back to Godhead. Another way of going back to Godhead, getting the mercy. What Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati says, in the mercy of Nitai Prabhu Haridas Thakur, that is a preaching. So if we preach nicely, wholeheartedly, with purity, with following nicely, even a small amount of chanting will be enough. Otherwise, small amount of chanting is not enough. But then it's beginning. Maybe like as many I see many householder there are. Whenever we go to Vrindavan, Mayapur, many householders they invite. Prabhuji, you don't know, but we know you. Please come for prasad. I said, how long? Now we are retired. We are in such and such country. We retired. We are staying here. We just chant. We do some seva. They're maybe 65, 70 years old. They're chanting. They're doing some seva. That is the way. At the end, we should see that we should chant more. If we have no seva, then we should chant more. That means what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says. Sarana sapane khaite suitanam. That's Vrindavan Das Thakur says. Either we are eating or sleeping or whatever. Sarane sapane rati jagan. Either we are sleeping or in dreaming. We should chant. Keep on chanting. Keep on chanting. Many devotees they told Prabhuji in dream I have chanted. I said that's good, but well, we should chant also, right? But they do. Devotees, those who are regular, they do chant. It's not that. Many family I see, they just chant, keep on chanting. Anyway, old age after 60, 65, you cannot sleep. At that time, if you have practice, automatically you'll chant. At night, when you cannot sleep, what else you can do? Either you walk like a ghost, or you take the mala and chant. Right? Sometime I don't sleep at night. So everybody, then what I do, I just take bath and sit in the sofa and chat, keep chanting. What can you do? So better to think something spiritual, something. We have a lot of construction work, so we just think about construction work. What to do, how to plan, what are the mistakes. And doesn't matter how good team you have, every time there will be some mistake. I'll say, Prabhuji, how can you mistake? Like I am in construction from very young age. I was Surabhi Prabhu, you all know, for 10 years I was with him. But still there is always mistake, and unfortunately if you do 100 things, the people will not recognize. If you do one mistake, people say, how they can do such a mistake? Right? They will question. Okay, I give you one example. In Gita, 18th chapter, 48 sloka, Krishna says, where there is a fire, there is smoke. So where there is a work, every work having some fault. You cannot do anything. So we can only work, but Krishna says, even though there is a fault, still you don't leave the work. Se karma vedata samsiddhi lavati nara. Ar brahmachari, grihastha, vanprastha, sannyas, brahman, kshatriya, vaishya, shudra, according to their profession, if they work for the satisfaction of the Lord, samsiddhi lavati, they will get perfection. So wherever we are, it is the blessings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He said, Grihe thako, bane thako, sada hari bole thako. So wherever we are, we chant, like you all are here. If you are chanting, this is Vrindavan, this is Mayapur. If you are not chanting, not following. And those who are in Mayapur, Vrindavan, if they are not chanting, then for them it is a materialistic place. So as Narottama Das Thakur says, what you call, wherever you chant, that is holy place. Naham tisthami vaikunthe yoginam hridayena cha mad bhakta jatra gayanti tatta tisthami nada. Wherever my devotee chant. If we are chanting here, this is holy place. Like Madam recited so many beautiful Gita's verses. One scripture says, I don't know what it is. If you remember one sloka of Gita, then you can go back to it. If you can remember one sloka of Gita. Such a powerful. So you have to understand which sloka. That I leave it to you. You can research and tell me. I can tell you later. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.